Hey guys, my name is Elysium from Paragon Studios, and here's the introductory devlog of the first devlog series I am making. So for a little context, Paragon Studios is just a group of me and my friends getting together to make games because, well, that's what we feel like doing with our lives, I guess. I don't know. So game development has always been something that I've wanted to do since I was little. It's always fascinated me because, well, I like telling stories and I like creating worlds. Ever since I was a little kid, I just seemed to like that, and I would always find inspiration in random things like movies I watched or books I read. And then as I got a little older, I discovered coding and computers and all the fun things you could do with that. And then, I decided that I would just put the two together and do game development, because in game development you tell stories and create worlds with coding. So it basically was just the perfect thing for me to do. So here we are. But I never had the time or patience or honestly the resources to do something like that. But now that I'm older, I finally have the chance to, actually give it a shot and also disappoint my ancestors. However, game development is very hard. It requires a lot of effort, creativity, time, and skills, which frankly I do not currently possess, but well, coding is something I actually have a fair deal of experience with, which is a large part of this. So hopefully it will carry me through and I can figure the rest out as I go. So for the first game, and for this devlog series, I have decided to take things slow, and for the first game I am developing, it's going to be a chess game. But you may think, there's already a lot of chess games, and you'd be right, there's tons of them. Most popular being like chess.com, which I'm sure most of you guys know. Which is exactly why we will be getting rid of this normal boring chess. Oh, sorry for guys who actually like normal chess. I do too. But anyways, for this chess game, it will be a unique and very special version of chess with new rules and pieces. So the board will be 10x10 instead of 8x8 like normal chess, and there will actually be different factions to choose from. And each faction can give you different sets of pieces to use, and I'll try to make each of them play differently so that it seems a little more unique and you can do more stuff with the strategy. And the game will be called Kingdoms of Chess to reflect this different factions aspect of the game. The first faction that I will add, and will be the sort of default faction, will be called the Crusaders. And these guys will largely be based upon the original chess pieces, with one extra piece to fill in the gap created by the 10x10 instead of 8x8. And then the rest of the factions will be introduced later on, and each one of them will probably be based on some sort of ancient medieval country like ancient Japan or like Rome, something like that. I don't know, I'll see as I keep going with this. So as of the release of this devlog, I actually have a prototype of this game finished and playable technically, but the game is very buggy and sometimes the pieces will fly off or go to a tile which they're not supposed to go, and some of the calculations behind the scene don't really work. It wasn't exactly designed to be a final product for this game. It was just sort of an experiment for me to see how it would be to create the background mechanics for a game like this. This prototype it was coded using Java and the Java FX GUI library, which is, shall we say, not very suited for this type of thing. It's honestly very taxing on the computer because the Java code, since it wasn't really designed to make a game, a lot of the things I had to do to make the game actually work are very convoluted and unnecessarily complex, which means that it's not really a very fun game to play. But a lot of the core mechanics are already finished, so that is something I'll be taking into this current version, as well as a lot of the algorithms, because the logic of that I think generally works. So for the new version, I will be using Unity, which is a much more suitable platform to code this game. So currently in the game, I have this invisible game object called the chessboard source, and it has two main scripts, the chess engine C# script and the board interaction script. So the chess engine script is, for starters, used to spawn in all the GUI elements like the pieces and the tiles. And then it also handles the game logic, like moves and checks, as well as keeping track of where all the pieces are on the board. As for the board interaction script, it handles the GUI elements, such as changing the colors of the tiles, moving the pieces across the board to represent the changes and the moves. In the future, I also add a timer and as well as a move log to keep track of all the moves that have been made. So to make the process easier, I have a chess prefab which contains several variables such as the faction of the piece, whether or not it's white or black, the unit type it is, and its position or location on the board. I did this so that when the chess engine spawns it in, the chess engine script can directly tell the piece what those variables are, like what faction it is and what unit type it is and where it's being placed. And then the prefab can then take this information, store it for later use, such as then it can take that information to change its sprite renderer so that it represents the actual piece it is on the GUI, because right now it's just a default placeholder that I used. So this way I don't have to do everything manually and it'll just automatically do it when the system tells it to. And this way it also makes it a lot easier for me to add new factions in the future. I also did a similar thing with the chess tiles where it has one variable, which is its location, and based on this location it'll calculate whether or not it's a black or white tile, and that's about it. So by storing all of these attributes within the pieces and the tiles themselves, that makes it easier for the chess engine and the board interaction scripts to use them in the future by just directly getting the information they need directly from the pieces that are being processed instead of manually searching for everything, which makes the process a lot faster and less tedious for both me and makes the program run faster as well. So right now when I press play, it creates this board using the prefabs that I previously mentioned, and it stores all the pieces in these little folders here, and also the tiles in this folder here. So if I go into seed, this piece down here is piece 0, and then this piece up here in the corner is piece 99. And they are numbered and named according to their starting positions. And this is the coordinate system that I'm using for the board to make it easier for me to code things. So down here is 0, and then there's 1, 2, 3, and then this is 10, 20, 30, and so on and so forth. And this makes it easier for me to code it within the chess engine and keep track of where things are. But that's about as far as I've gotten right now. The goal next is to create the actual background chess logic so the game can actually be played and so that the pieces can actually be moved, because right now if I click on them they don't really do anything. Once I have that finished, I will move on to like login, main menu scenes, and like settings, game saves, etc., as well as maybe accounts. Or I plan on releasing this game on Steam, so I may just use the Steam account, or maybe I'll create and own it, like the personal account for the actual game. I'm not sure yet. I'll figure this when I get to it. As you may have noticed, the game also looks pretty bare bones right now as well. Kind of lazy, and I'm not, shall we say, the most talented at art, so I will try to update it later on in the future, but that's not really a priority right now. Maybe if I feel like it, I might do it sooner rather than later, but we will see. So yeah, that's as things are right now for this devlog. For the next devlog, I will hopefully upload it in either 2 weeks or a month, depending on how much progress I make. I'll see, as I will be continuing to work on this game during the summer. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked it. Please like and subscribe, and also check out some of our other devlogs on this channel, as we will be posting more of those later on. Not just me, but also my 2 partners, Darncrafts1 and Sam, and they will have their own projects going on, so please check them out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next devlog. Bye!